Welcome to Modern Seniors, everyone. Your friend, Ami Peacock. I'm joined here by my co host.
Neil Parker. Glad to be here with you and me. I guess I should just call myself Neil in keeping with our short format.
Whatever works, Neil, whatever works. So, thank you so much, Neil. This is an incredible so far. We have had how many months now, Neil? How many episodes?
Wow, we started in February, but we started recording in March, so we're into the middle of May almost. So that's 2.5 months or so, almost.
You and I have been friends for a long, long time. And it's such a blessing and such a privilege to co-host with you. What are some how did how did you agree to co-host?
Well, it was an opportunity. What do you call it? It was an offer I couldn't refuse because I've been thinking of doing a podcast for so long, and yet just the barriers of what am I going to talk about, what's the theme going to be, and of course when you said let's co-host a podcast, I thought this is absolutely perfect. That's something I've been working on with you for a decade. I'll have a co-host for to support me, and it'll just make it so much more fun. Trying to do it on my own would be impossible. Trying to find someone else to do it with would be a real struggle. So it was just so natural that we would work together on this.
Totally. I agree. I I think for me, starting the modern seniors is just a natural fruition because we have been working with Beyond the Conversation in addressing social isolation and loneliness. And when I was dreaming about having a new arm per se for the work that we do, I was thinking, we should really have something that focus on aging, but not the fragile kind of ways of aging, but people who are seniors, but doesn't really call themselves seniors or like to be called seniors. What do you think?
I don't think there's anything wrong with being called seniors, and I love the way somebody put it. I can't remember who, but just recently, I love all benefits of being senior. I don't like being called senior.
I think it was Neville.
No, right. I think you're right. Yeah, there's so many wonderful things about being senior, but there are also so many traps that we can easily fall into. Uh, as in many things that happen to you in life, aging is something that happens to all of us, but you can go down a dark path, or you can choose a different path and say, I'm going to see this as a positive development, something that I can work with.
I really like what you said, the trap. I think this is something that you and I have come to a conclusion that yes, there is a benefits for being seniors. For example, one of the benefits is that you get discounts.
Well, yes, there are social benefits, and I really appreciate those.
Right.
Um, but and then there, of course, natural benefits like your circle of acquaintances reaches a certain breadth. Um, so you know a lot of people in a lot of different areas, and maybe you've had a lot of experience too. So that builds up, and that gives you um, some kind of competence that you can bring to your interactions in the world.
Very true. And I think that, you know, when there is a certain wisdom that we bring as we age because we have life experiences and we
Mm,
have learned struggles and trials in life, and those struggles and trials in life do teach us
yes.
and refined us into hopefully better individuals.
Mm,
So you're right. I think for the sake of our podcast too, and the way that we have strategized in ways what are we going to bring out to
Hmm.
the public that has values and not just, a talking head or noise, but adding some values. I think that is always in our both your heart and mine. What would you, if you're just discovering this, what would you say your top three things that you're looking forward to?
I feel like I'm being put on the spot here. But
Yeah.
what I was thinking about as you were talking is, what about the hidden skills, the things
Oh,
that we, the skills that we possess that we're not aware we possess, or
yes.
the the capacities that we have that we're not aware we have. And that one of the things that uh, popped into my mind was storytelling. We have
Ah,
accumulated a lot of experience, but it's one thing to have the experience, and it's the other thing to be able to translate that experience into stories that you can share with other people that will help them. I think that's perhaps one of the greatest hacks in society that's been built in for millennia, is the ability of an older person to effectively share their wisdom with both their peers and younger people through storytelling.
oh,
Personal experience, right? This is what happened to me. Be sure to watch out for this, or you don't even have to put it as a moral or as a directive. You can just say, this is what happened to me, and the connection is obvious, I think, when you tell it as a story. You don't need to beat someone over the head.
yeah. Yeah. Uh, so we have actually we have had few guests already. Um,
Quite a
you
few.
know, yeah, frequency. Uh, I wonder what your memories by far, what stood out to you, because for me, like you, I also like this idea of storytelling. I learned so much from individuals, though few of them we have relationship with them, both professionally and personally. But when they're sharing their stories in our studio, there's something unraveled that I thought, wow, I didn't even know that. Like it's incredible. So for me, also, uh, definitely what stood out the most um, is the story of, uh, Barbara Kirby. I really enjoy the idea that, she was working as a caregiver of her parents. And then, because of her experience, again, going back to that experience, she started her own business. Uh, right?
Yes.
And who else did you, the memory that stood out to you from the guests that we brought?
Well, I think we can go right back to the beginning to our conversation with Andre Barron
Ah, yeah,
about some of the technology that we're
so true.
that is emerging very rapidly, the technological singularity that we seem to be falling in more and more rapidly, and how it
Yeah.
affects all of our lives, both for seniors and for everyone. That we're all on a learning curve. We're all constantly having to adapt. And I think this brings us all together um, in a way where we can build understanding. So the community that we're trying to build has this shared experience. Um, yeah, it's something very interesting about our current society, and it's critical for our survival that we make that adaptation effectively. So many problems to be solved.
Very true. And I think that we can talk about problems until the cows comes home. And, you know, and those are good as an awareness. But if we dwell too much on it, I think it's going to be really, really hard for us. And that is why, Neil, you and I, one of our philosophy, one of our purpose for this podcast is building authentic community, a community that trusts each other, a community that hopefully hangs out with each other and go out for coffee, like I think that is really, if we could sum up what modern seniors, it would be like we're building community through storytelling. uh, oh, that's almost like a vision.
I love it, and it really builds on our work together, where we were actually out in the community physically, going to events, going to venues, presenting in person, live
Yeah.
in front of an audience, and now we're trying to move that experience online into a digital format to make it more accessible to many more people.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're thinking ahead now. We're very excited actually next week and the week after that. We already have confirmed individuals. So, and they're amazing, amazing people to to have in our studio because they have incredible stories, Neil. Oh my word.
Mhm.
I can't wait.
Yes, and
And
this is an opportunity actually to say to our audience, if you know of anyone that you would like to see on our podcast, or if you'd like to peer yourself, we have an intake form. We can send you. Just drop us a line, and
yeah,
we will give you all the details to make that happen.
yeah, exactly. Thank you, Neil. And so this is where I think for us, we're looking at, okay, how can we, our studio, our podcast be unique, and and how can we reach individuals who are maybe standing alone, and how can we
Mm.
invite them into a community? What do you
Yeah.
think, Neil?
Well, and we also need to acknowledge that we're already part of a community. There's already people online that are trying to achieve similar goals, working towards similar aims. So we need to build a community of other podcasters and so forth. I'm really looking forward to that phase. So far, we've been talking to people who are very active in the community with various projects that have a significant impact, helping
Yeah.
people, empowering people, and bridging gaps. But what, what we haven't done so far is to invite other podcasters and to appear on other podcasts. So I'm really looking forward to that phase.
Yeah, I agree because I think there is something about collaboration. And the beauty of collaboration is, I was talking about this with another person yesterday, is
Mm,
that collaboration is a beautiful thing because the issue that um, we desire to address is a bigger issue. Um, for example, loneliness and social isolation. It's a it's a global issue, global epidemic.
mm,
And you can't, beyond the conversation alone, can't tackle it, you know? So we need to have this mindset of collaboration. And I know other people might think collaboration means then I can divide my resources, my funding. Not always. Not
mm.
always, because people actually support uh, your cause, because that matters to them. So we should not be scared in terms of collaborating with each other, and that's why I enjoy having you. Because
Well, and the other thing we have to acknowledge is that we are just beginners at this. This is our first
yeah,
ever podcast. You have a little more broadcast experience than me. Um, so you bring that to this. I have my experience talking with Toastmasters and various other experiences traveling around the world as a global business developer. But what we're trying to do here is something that we're both very new at. So collaboration is going to be key. We're going to need to learn a lot from people who've been doing this and who are much better at it than we are.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And that's, I think, comes down to being teachable. And myself, I love learning. I was watch someone, a child, and I look at that child and I go, wow, that is so amazing. I should really try that. Like,
Hmm.
so
Yes.
we
Yeah.
we don't have to be close knit, but rather to be inclusive. And I think that's exactly what we're hoping to bring into this podcast.
Absolutely. And this echoes something that's very common among service professions, like medicine, for example, that we have to be lifelong learners, that things are always changing. There are always new developments in various aspects of our professions. Uh, New studies will come out, revolutionary studies that will change
Mhm.
the way we see things. So we have to constantly be uh, able to and willing to and happy to learn.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Where would we be if we didn't allow ourselves to constantly change and constantly um, evolve? And so we would be still riding the uh, horse buggy,
Who
right?
knows? That might not be a bad thing in all ways.
Probably not. And then instead of having, um, it's something to type on, then we use typewriter. And although a lot of people now are going back to using old things now. Um,
Yes, one of my favorite hobbies is handwritten correspondence. And I just received a letter from my cousin in Toronto, uh, 12 and a half pages of handwritten correspondence. I,
oof.
I am just loving it and looking forward to writing my reply to him and sending that off by the old fashioned snail mail. There's
Snail.
nothing like getting a handwritten letter
Yes.
in the mail. You get so much advertisements and professionally printed stuff. To get a handwritten letter is so special. It just
Ah,
breathes
yes.
a different kind of life into your day and into your week.
It is so true. I used to do a pen pals,
Mm,
and I am looking forward every month receiving that and then writing them back. Uh, so special. I'm so glad that that happens, Neil. You need it sometimes in life, right? We
mm.
need it. We need that kind of specialty in life.
It's a reminder that we have lots of new and wonderful modern things that make life so much more convenient and so much safer in so many ways. But at the same time, there are some things that you cannot replicate digitally.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I One day I would love to hear that people are still writing handwritten. I would love to hear that story, that they are still handwriting letters. My mom, my mother-in-law, um, every birthdays and every anniversaries, she would so faithfully write messages from beautiful cards, and I do look forward to receiving them.
Mhm.
And she does that with everybody. To her, that is something, a memory and a wonderful feeling to write
Yes, and to read
messages.
handwriting as
Yeah,
well. It's an experience that builds a really strong feeling of connection because you
yeah,
realize, somebody sat down, put pen to paper, uh, thought this through, uh,
yeah,
and really put a lot of their self and their effort. And
yeah.
it's an art form too. So,
It is. It
mhm.
is. I love my mother-in-law. She's the best mother-in-law in the world. And she's very kind and very supportive, prays for us all the time. And so, Yeah, it's wonderful to have to receive that kind of special letter from her. Um, in terms of, since we're talking about the topic of today's discussion is strategy, uh, is there any lessons in the past, previous podcasts that we could build upon and improve upon um, as we are thinking about what these modern seniors can become
Mm.
in the near future?
Yes, I think there's one in particular that comes to mind, which is that I think we've done very well in that we've preserved the option to always invite our guests back, because it often seems like we're only able to cover a fraction of what they have to say in a conversation. But strategically, we need to build towards focusing their voice even more and bringing out even more of their message just in a single podcast session.
I like that idea very much. I wonder, the audience, you as our followers, subscribers, I wonder what your thoughts on this. I'm sure you probably uh, watch a lot of podcasts and follow and listen to a lot of podcasts. I wonder what you wish to say in this the modern seniors podcast, and what matters to you, and how can we deliver that to you?
Really good question, Amelia. And I've been watching a few podcasts for probably 5 years or so now. I was a late bloomer when it came to podcasts, and I have some favorites. And now that we've started doing this podcast, I've started to accumulate a list of new podcasts that I really enjoy and that I think will help me build my skills and so forth. One big gap there, though, is finding other seniors focused podcasts or podcasts that focus on similar issues to what we're doing. I think that's an opportunity that I need to try and realize.
So definitely, the sky is the limit, and we can pursue more partnership, collaboration, and guests in our studio working alongside each other to make our world a livable place, a place where you and I can feel safe, can actually walk on the street and feeling like you're not invincible, right?
Mm,
You matter, that you're seen, you are heard, you feel the sense of belonging. That sense of belonging always coming up to a lot of our conversation. And I wonder what that looks like to you out there who is listening. What is belonging looks like to you?
mhm. Yeah, it's not just a matter of clicking subscribe or something like that to belong to a list or a mailing list or uh, something bureaucratic or something technical. Belonging to a community has a different logic to it. And I know that you grew up in a very, very inclusive community where it was almost like an extension of your body or yourself. And whereas I grew up in a very different nuclear family, very isolated type of setting where all my cousins lived very far away and had connections with the kids in the neighborhood, uh, but not so much with the extended family as yourself. There are lots of different backgrounds and different experiences related.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we dream about the future, what do you visualize, Neil? What do you hope that someone who is listening will truly learn and inspired about what they hear?
I'm reminded of the old tradition of, I think, North American and probably beyond tradition of barn building, where the
Hmm.
entire community would come together for a new family trying to set up uh, their homestead, and would all help them to build a barn to keep their animals in. I think that's a little bit related to what we're trying to do, in that we would really love to have a community come together to help us to build this podcast out.
Oh, I love that analogy, Neil. I really do because I am very visual. So I actually learn about my world by watching people. So being the youngest in the family, I learn that if I don't do this, I won't I won't benefit that, or I won't get that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's visually, it's very clear, and I love coming together as a community to build the kind of storytelling and the episodes that we might be over time embarking on. And I am looking forward to not just meeting new people, discovering about their stories, but also being part and shaped with that kind of their journey together. I love this
Hmm.
idea that when you journey together, you you don't get as physically tired because your emotion, your spiritual, your physical, it's being used and utilized and mobilized. Whereas if you're alone, it's very, I think there's a different picture that I see.
Right, and there's always a hurdle that you have to overcome to start anything new. Uh, with physical exercise, often you need to activate your muscles and do some warm up before you can get into the heavy lifting. With social, it can be the same. You might need a little bit of small talk to get yourself into the position where you can have a deeper conversation. Um, let's see. I was just thinking that this podcast is an invitation, and we want to maintain that. We want to keep inviting everyone to be involved and to join. Um, there's no way, as you say, we can do this on our own.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's a we versus I. We we are sharing the efforts. We're sharing the success. We're sharing, um, the burdens. We're sharing. Whereas the I, it feels like you're standing all alone. It's very lonely. Very
And
lonely.
you know,
Yeah.
one of the things that's really been on my mind ever since September 2025 is that there are so many untold stories, or
Yeah.
stories that have already been told but are not being received. I've met
Yeah.
senior authors, for example, who've written absolutely wonderful books, really compelling stories, very interesting about their own lives. But we drowned in so much media these days, and there are so
Yeah.
many different
So,
ways of even marketing those stories that's so
yeah.
different from what was existed in the past. If you're an 85-year-old author and you have a fantastic book and you follow the traditional marketing methods, you won't get very far. You need someone to help
Yeah.
you out with the algorithms and all this stuff that is just sort of the meat and potatoes and the assumed standard for the digital age. So yeah, so
Yeah.
getting those really valuable stories and bringing them to light is something I think we can help with here.
Yeah. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, this the person who's coming, I think next week or the following week, is also an author, and she is becoming a PhD, So I incredible individual. I am so looking forward to building that momentum. And we always look forward to come together, you and I, Neil. We look forward to, as a matter of fact, even though our uh, individually we may go through really crappy day, like yesterday.
Yesterday was a struggle for both of us, wasn't it?
It was. Well, let's
Independently.
independently. So, what happened to you yesterday?
Oh, yesterday I'd been I been scheduled for a biopsy, so I went into St. Paul's Hospital, and it was amazing. The staff was so comforting, so understanding, so they
Mm.
communicated so well. It was really a good experience. But then I had to fill out the evaluation, and they said, "How would you rate your experience? Was it pleasant?" And I had to say, "I'm not going to answer this one because getting a biopsy is not really a pleasant experience, no matter how helpful the staff is." And then to top it off, I went home in the afternoon, and I had what they call a vasovagal episode where I was sweating profusely. I was feeling nauseous, and I felt like I was going to lose consciousness. I had to go to the emergency ward. And
Oh boy.
again, fantastic, helpful staff. There was a huge lineup when I got there, but somehow they managed to process me within 2 hours, and they did all sorts of tests. They did ECG, they did blood tests, they did you know everything you could possibly hope for and expect. And at the end, it was a positive result. They said, well, just take some more antibiotics, and they gave me a new prescription, and just take it easy for the next couple of days. Nothing to worry about. This is a
Mm.
common experience, or this can happen after a biopsy. So it was very
Right.
reassuring as well. But it certainly was a unique learning experience. I gained so much appreciation for what other people go through, and for what services are provided, and for all of the effort that people make to make this kind of incredible support available in our community.
Wow.
And how about yourself, Annie?
Wow.
What was your
Okay.
day?
Well, yours is definitely whew, like nerve
It was a
wracking.
medical odyssey.
Yeah, definitely. And grateful for our medical system to be able to, be seen and start your tests within 2 hours period. That's record breaking, I would say.
Well, now you
Uh,
have an app you can go on, and you can see what's the wait time at all the emergencies
oh,
around town.
yeah.
So you just say, "Oh, which is the shortest one?" and that's where you go. It's
Yeah.
incredible. I
Yeah.
could have I could have waited 4 hours if I wanted to.
Yeah. Not if you're feeling like you're going to lose consciousness. Wow. But then if you fainted and lost consciousness, they probably will see you right away.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, yeah. Well, mine it's not as uh, nerve wracking, but nerve wracking enough that I couldn't sleep last night.
Mm,
I had I have I'm working this role, and so everything is new. And my first orientation, I hosted an orientation for new recruits, and I everything was prepared, as you know. Everything is neatly prepared and windows open, so I can just click it. Then I started with camera not working very well, so that was off the scale, and then I accidentally turn off or close the windows I'm supposed to be presenting. And now I'm scrambling along as finding where it is. Everything is new, everything is double learning,
mm,
and I did not do very well.
This reminds me of our struggles when we were starting the podcast and all of the technical issues that kept coming up and trying to decide which platforms to use and trying to get the equipment to work properly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but they were so gracious, though. They were so gracious. But I can tell that, they're they're just biting their tongue, I'm
Mm.
sure.
People have so much pressure on their time these days. We really try to be respectful of that and
Yeah,
to deliver as much value in as short a period as we possibly can.
yeah,
And that's why it's very frustrating when we have encountered technical issues
yeah,
that disrupt that.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, that was my day, and but it's part of learning. I just told myself, This is just part of learning, Ami. You're going to get better." I find that when I am presenting somebody else's work, I'm presenting their thought process, and
Mm,
I'm not engaging in the material.
yeah.
So, what works best? Excuse me. What works best for me in the past is to create my own materials, because by creating my own materials, it's my thought process. I'm very familiar of the processes. So when I'm presenting becomes a second nature to me.
Hmm.
And I
And
can tell right
mm,
away when I'm presenting and do it well versus presenting somebody else's work and did not go very well.
yeah, so you've learned to remind yourself whenever you're setting out on this journey of giving a presentation that it needs to be your material. Whether
Yeah,
somebody else wrote it or whether you wrote it yourself, as long as it's yours that you're presenting.
yeah,
That and this is one of the things as we age that we learn to do is to give ourselves these constant reminders. You know, like the one for me that started when I lost my my mom first, and later other members of my family, is to remind myself that I'm not alone, that
yeah,
other people have gone through this terrible experience, and as much as I'm suffering, I also have an opportunity to learn and to connect with other people.
yeah,
And there other people who have gone through this experience will understand what I'm going through. So as much as we're all unique, we also all share these things. This is something that I constantly remind myself with when I encounter some difficulty in life.
yeah. That's a very good reminder, Neil. And I'm learning from you as well as I'm listening. And I would love to continue doing this. And we are at the very end of our time together. And I hope that
For
we
today.
covered, yes, for today, I hope that we covered the major important things that we are planning to do and continue to engage and continue to encourage, invite you. It's always by invitation. You can always say no, but we are inviting you to be part of this community. If it adds value to your life and your journey here on earth, check us out. Do you know leave comment or like and subscribe, and we would be grateful to meet and to read your messages.
Should we summarize our strategic goals that have come out of this conversation?
Yes,
I think
please.
the one for me that I remember is to connect with other podcasters. I think that's very high on the list. Do you want
Yeah,
to put one in? And what
yeah.
about yourself?
I think to continue to bring and invite the guests that will be telling stories, and And yeah, booking them, confirming them ahead of time, because you and I are also busy. So we wanted to make sure that we keep track on who's coming, and continue to engage our audience
Mm. Yeah.
to join the tribe and family, I would say.
And another one would be to focus on the values of the past, the things that that are that are still extremely valuable, and that like handwritten letters, for example, and that bring an experience to our lives that cannot be replaced by anything modern, such as the experience of verbal and oral storytelling, for example.
Yeah. Maybe I need to find someone that I respect, and that has great wisdom and influence,
Mm.
not just a worldly influence. I'd like to find that individual that I um I find I see their lives like, oh yeah, I would love to meet this person.
Mm.
Um I and then write a handwritten letter. Hey, that would be
Great.
something.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the other thing is, all of this is integrated with who we are, what are our identities. That old question that the Rolling Stones raised, who are you?
Mm.
Without those stories passed on from generation to generation, without the elements that unite us as families, we don't know who we are. So by building a community, we build identity as well.
Oh, I like that. By building community, we build identity as well. That's deep. I love that quote, Neil. Nice. And so we are looking forward to coming next week again with a guest. I wanted to say the name, but I probably will not have to say the name until all this confirmation. And so, and then we have something to talk about and post in our social media. Great.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a little bit of suspense, right?
I didn't even tell you.
No.
You're my co host. I will tell you later. Okay.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you very, very soon. Bye bye. Okay. I think yeah,
Is it still?
we just,
It says it's still recording.
so the
We're
person,
still recording though, right? Me? It says recording.
uh, wait, is it?
Yeah, recording 43:34. It's
Uh,
we're at 43 minutes and a half
oh,
now.
sorry.
The orange recording light is still on.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Just
And,
doesn't want to stop recording us. I guess
oh,
we must be
no.
doing a really good job.
Oh, no.
Hmm. Should we switch to Google Meet or? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Live viewer comments. We haven't tried that yet, have we?
No, but this, it is still. Sorry, Neil.
No worries. I wonder if I can do anything
Let me
from my side.
see. Give me a moment. It should. Why is
Oh,
this
let me try
not?
that comments feature.
Mm.
Hmm.
Oh dear.
I'm not allowed to comment myself. Recording, there we go. Recording hasn't started, it says, under recording. Huh, that's interesting. Because we
How
have to
about
upload. That's right, because we have to
how
upload.
about if I just close this off?
Well, remember that we still have to upload. So if you don't do it in the right way, then we might lose all of this content.
Oh, sorry.